Greetings. Shop Talk Podcast. Greetings. I'm Norma Jo Thomas, and I am here with my favorite barber, Jamel Thomas, and we are at the historic Joe's Barbershop, right here in the historic African American community of Acres Homes. Joe's Barbershop is the home of Shop Talk. The Shop Talk podcast celebrates the old school black barbershop, where there were conversations about just about everything relevant to the black community. Tune in to Shop Talk. Welcome to episode 7, part 2. Culture keeping, why bother? Cultural appropriation, why care? You've taken my blues and gone. You sing them on Broadway, and you sing them in Hollywood Bowl, and you mixed them up with symphonies, and you fixed them so they don't sound like me. Yep, you done taken my blues and gone. Someday, somebody will stand up and talk about me and write about me, black and beautiful, and sing about me and put on plays about me. I reckon it'll be me. Yep, I reckon it'll be me, myself. All right, and we are back. Thank you, Jimmy Jacob.
Yes.
Jimmy is one of them old school musicians. Old school musicians. He can get lost in the music and we'll be here all night long. But we don't have all night. So we're going to jump right back into our conversation and we're going to begin to bring it to a close. So what I want to do now is I want to, you guys kind of led into it a little bit, but I really want you to kind of do a little bit of a deeper dive. And that is, I'm going to try to put these two questions into one. What is cultural appropriation and why is it a problem? And then the second part is going to be, how do we preserve and keep culture? What do you do? And what can anybody who is listening or watching do to become culture keepers? So let's talk a little bit about what cultural appropriation is and why that's a problem.
Cultural appropriation happens when the larger group takes something that is sacred or mystical or known only to the smaller group by as a method of demeaning us. So that is like would take our rituals from us and show them on public TV, and it might be our core experience, as you know, but they're going to publicize them to get money. So that would be demeaning us and taking something from us that is sacred and belongs only to us.
And I think that piece of the definition is so important, is that it belongs to and you said a smaller group, and I may be saying smaller, not in, but there is a marginalized group.
Exactly.
You're
there.
Okay, good. And so it made me think about this last Juneteenth when Walmart came out with Juneteenth ice cream.
Wow.
And then and the Juneteenth cups and the Juneteenth bowls and the Juneteenth plates. And I wasn't so much concerned about the bowls and the cups and the plates, but Juneteenth ice cream. So to me, and of course that was outcry. That was a serious outcry.
And
so
the apparel.
The apparel.
Yeah.
So everything was pulled from the shelves, even the ice cream. They just put another label on it because it's ice cream. What is Juneteenth ice cream? But at any rate, like I said, there was outcry. So everything was pulled from the shelves. But it speaks to what you're saying. You took something that belongs to a particular group.
Right.
It is up to that particular group to share that with the world, but for you to then take it and commercialize it and to make money off it, to make it your own, then that's where the appropriation came in.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
What
is.
were your thoughts, Rob?
I'm going to play devil's advocate, unfortunately. So we're looking at people, how can I put it? We're gauging them from our moral compass.
Who are we gauging?
The people who are taking away our culture, right?
Okay.
So you mentioned Walmart. They are in business to make money. Right now, our dollars are helping their business thrive. It is what it is. It's not right, but it is what it is. But since we don't have the Walmarts, we don't have the Target, we don't have these different entities to sell to ourselves, they're doing it for us. Or they're doing it in our stead. I'll say it like that, And so who's right and who's wrong?
So is that your devil advocacy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, do we need someone to sell this for us? Because in truth,
no, not at all.
in truth, we do have those individuals who do create they got the black owners and creators of Juneteenth cups, and Juneteenth plates, and Juneteenth paraphernalia, and Juneteenth apparel. So do we really need that conglomerate to come and create Juneteenth for us? Is that something that we need?
No, we don't need it because Walmart and Target and whoever else does it in this appropriation, they're doing it to make money because they have targeted black people because black people are the largest consumers.
Right.
And they already know that as a business plan. Okay, Black Friday, we're going to do this. Juneteenth, we're going to do this. Memorial Day. So we're
Black History Month.
Black History Month, we're going to have Black History items. So, they target us because they know we're the largest consumers. And the problem with that is that we gladly give them our money.
That's my point.
We gladly give them our money.
That was my point. Yeah.
And what I was going to add to what both of them are saying, but Bafundi Naila, is we gladly give them our money because what she said earlier, the sense of pride, the sense of dignity. If we had that, we wouldn't. And we are the largest consumer, but we still disrespect our dollars and cents.
Yes.
We still disrespect our dollars and cents. Even if there was a black owned company or a minority owned company that was tied to a black owned company, in other words, a group from the Spanish speaking community, like Cuba or Brazil somewhere that has experienced African history in their lives. We would not buy it from them. We would still go to Walmart. So our concept of our dollar and the value of our dollar goes into that whole pride thing as well. And so, we just continue to allow people to come in and take what's ours on so many different levels.
And let's address those levels, because we're talking on one level about taking symbols and rituals and rites that belong to a particular culture and then commercializing them. Let's look at the level of actually taking music and making it one's own. Let's talk about taking writings and making it one's own. Clear example on TikTok. There was a young TikToker, and she had created some kind of dance, or she made this particular dance popular. And of course, TikTok is based, you get so many followers, you get all these views, and then you can start monetizing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this particular young person had not made any money, but someone else took over it, began to do the exact same thing that she was doing, and became a major influencer.
Wow.
And gave no credit back to that individual. There is, I know my grandchildren, they would order clothes from Shein. And so I was telling them, I said, Shein has kids working in sweatshops, and they were like, everybody's got kids working in sweatshops. That was their excuse. But I shared with them a story that I had read about a young designer. They literally took her design and they mass produced it and sold it. And she got no recompense for it. She was not mentioned. Her name. Nobody knew until she decided, I'm going to take them to task. I am going to call it out. So we're talking about other levels of appropriation. I don't want to be the only one talking. Jump in.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, I think the basis of this is because we do not have that pride or know who we are.
Mm.
It all goes back to the
to it.
same thing. It all goes back to we are the culture keepers.
Mhm.
Our responsibility are to the future generations, the ones that exist right now and the ones in the future. That's for our survival.
Mhm.
So maybe defining our culture and who we are needs to be spread among our communities,
Mhm.
because it is not something that one individual, 10 individual,
Mhm.
one group, one club can do alone.
Mhm.
It's time for those partnerships and collaborations and unity in all the communities to come together and say, look, the very history, Black history, as in almost being extinguished, because we're not going to be able to buy the books. The books on Amazon that really detail our history are going to cost you $300-400 to buy it. That means they don't want to sell it to you.
Mhm.
Right.
They have taken, I used to sell Black Christian nationalism on Amazon, but they took it off because I'm a small Black business. I was selling it for $100, and they kept deactivating my listing, saying it was too much. However, they let someone else sell it for $400.
Mhm.
So then I said, okay, I have no power to change them.
Mhm.
I have my own website,
Come on now.
www.shrinebookstore.com.
Slight
Yes.
plug, slight plug.
And I will sell it on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like those roadblocks.
Mhm.
But it's only when we come together and realize what the obstacles are
Mhm.
that we define who we are together
Mhm.
for the future. So we've got to come together and
Yeah.
be unified.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And you are singing the same tune that I have heard since we started this podcast.
Mhm.
When Aswad and Faraha were here, when Dr. Muhammad and Miss Grant were here,
Mhm.
everybody was saying the exact
We need
same
to come together.
thing.
Mhm.
We're allowing social media
Mhm.
to define us. We're allowing social media to dictate what happens in our communities. And what we have to do, and what Aswad likes to say all the time, is we got to shine a light on it. We got to shine the light on that, and we got to celebrate that. But he's absolutely correct.
Mhm.
And that's how we came up with that phrase, we've got to change the algorithm.
Mhm.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
have to know how to fight. And
Fight
I think
smarter.
fight
Yes.
smarter. And I think that what happens is that I heard somebody say one time, well, I'm not going to be marching in the streets or this, that was back. Nobody's asked you to. You have to understand that the presence of God is constantly moving.
Mhm.
So therefore, every action that's going on in the world is constantly moving. Nobody's asking you to stand still this way.
Mhm.
We're asking you to fight. Bring what you have to the table and let's build that unity that Fundi was talking about, that unification. We have to get that. Bob Marley said it. Unification of the Black man. You have to make sure, and that's not just in terms of a male, that's the people. We have to understand that we have to fight, and we have to fight smart, and we have to make sure that if we are not the ones that are keeping the culture, then the ones that are keeping it, we have to make sure that we're protecting them and that they are being put in front of the audience of the people so the information can get out there. Jaramogi Kimati used to say this thing about this brother had all these great and wonderful inventions, but he just kept them in his garage. What good did it do anybody?
Mhm.
How could it help anybody? It couldn't. So we have to make sure that we're bringing the people to the information source so the information can get put out there and people can know. And it's not so easy for anybody to steal our culture.
Yeah.
I want to play devil's advocate again.
I'm going to have to hit
Come
you
on, Devin.
with the Saints still.
Angel advocate. How about
Okay,
that?
I like that.
Angel advocate. Okay. I was just sitting here thinking it as you were talking about, the brother George Floyd.
Mhm.
Nobody expected that, how everybody would have assimilated white, black, and indifferent all together because they saw the injustice of what this man was going through, right?
Mhm.
the people who even stealing our culture, they saw that this was wrong.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying to you is, even though they're stealing our culture, by them stealing our culture, they now have a bit of our DNA or our culture in them to halfway know what we're going through. To see that man scream out for his mother, everybody still felt like, you know what, I have a mother too. And if it happens to him, it might happen to me too. So what I'm saying to you is there's the confused admiration, what they call hate. They are showing us that they love us so much that they're willing to take from us without us giving it to them.
Okay, yeah, you are playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, but let me just say this. I wanted to, and y'all know I have senior moments. Golly, I hope I don't lose it. Because I did have the thought when you were speaking that I don't see that as anyone connecting with us culturally. And I definitely do not see that with anyone connecting with us on a DNA level. What I see is humanity.
Exactly.
That has nothing to do with, and I can feel, I can see a brother, hell, I can see anybody of any race on the ground, and the police has got his foot on his neck. I'm going to feel something as a human being. But tomorrow, I could very well steal everything that is yours. It doesn't say anything about my connection to you culturally, because you might feel for George Floyd as a human being, but you don't know what got George Floyd to the place. You can't. Right. That's what you can't identify. Right. You can't identify with anything that his family is feeling because it's compounded by all of their experiences, and it's not just this single moment in time.
Right. No, I agree. I agree, but it still galvanized people together.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That was what. So I'm saying even though they are taking our culture, it's still galvanizing them whether they like it or not, because they are taking our culture.
So devil's advocate, they get in it, so they get a pass. You came to the cookout, so you get a pass.
No,
which one? What piece of our culture
you want? You want
the dance? You want the song? Which one you want? You get
no.
It's a barbershop conversation.
Right there you go.
Barbershop conversation. It is. I think more than anything, what happened with George Floyd appealed to humanity.
Right.
That's the basis of it. It did not change the nature of our oppressor. Bottom line, it did not change them, because they may have felt bad that it happened, but still, okay, you are still less than me. It didn't stop them from oppressing.
Come on,
it doesn't stop them from stealing. We all have that aspect of humanity within us. And watching the televised, him crying for his mother, it touched their humanity.
Right.
But we can never forget the kind of people who we are dealing with, who have it in their DNA, that came from the cold caves, slaughtered, cannibalism, all the way throughout Europe, down to the Americas. History. So it is important that we know our history.
Understand
history. And we have to also understand in this thing of our culture, we do not have to apologize for being our own gatekeepers.
No, we do not.
Yeah.
And we don't have to give you an explanation. But the way we hold it and the way we carry it will make people understand that.
Yes.
If we're not walking and standing and speaking upright, and if we are always trying to grab a hold to that low-hanging fruit conversation instead of dealing with the real issue, then, we're not going to be who we are, no matter how, like Fundi said, fight smarter. You got to fight smarter. And it all goes back to knowing who we are. That is the main reason why the culture keepers are so important.
You know what? I was thinking about, I have all of these tapes that go back to, I don't know how far they go back, maybe like the 1960s. They are from Reverend Albert B. Clay. The person who gave them to me never came back to get them, so I still have them, and they are now mine. It was, and I would sit and laugh sometimes. Right? Cassettes. And I sat up one night just listening, and his cadence, the way he would speak was just hilarious. But one of the things that he said that was just, I'm just thinking about it now. He said, now I know you think I'm talking about the people on your job. I know you think I'm talking about the people you see in the grocery store. I'm not talking about your friends. I'm talking about people that you don't see every day on a daily basis. And I think sometimes that's where we miss it. We misunderstand the systematic approach. And so since we're talking about cultural appropriation, we miss the systematic approach to cultural appropriation. So we're not talking about the little white boy down the street. And to be honest with you, I'm not really talking about that single little boy who's marching at the front of the band. I'm talking about the greater system,
the system
of which that individual probably has no knowledge that he's even a part of.
Right.
But
And
it's
to-
a part of, but it's a part of a greater. And so we're going to move this conversation along. I told you we could be here all night. This conversation, I'm never within my time. So, but you said a word.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead because you're my guest. So
Well, I just wanted to say you said something very significant, that little boy over there, that you're not worried about him. He doesn't know. He didn't have anything to do with it. But the way the future of this country is being designed, he will never know about it.
Right.
And that he will never know that he got
that
his
he
wealth.
participated.
Right. He will never know that his
Yes.
whole family and their
Yes.
generational wealth came from the backs of our people from slavery.
Yes.
And if we don't watch out, our children will never know.
I hate to say it, Fundi,
That's the
but
scary
they're on
part.
the route there.
That's the
They
scary
are
part.
on the route there. You sit up and you talk to some of our young brothers and sisters, and you can say a name. They have no idea. I mean, and I'm talking about just from civil rights. So if you go any further than that, they sure haven't heard of Candice or Shaka or these they don't even know. That's like what you talking about? And then they don't even identify with our African heritage. Like that's some kind of I'm like, what? Hold up,
It's like
now.
it's almost like we've come full circle.
Yeah.
And I was sharing with someone not very long
Not
ago,
understanding the cradle
and
of
we were talking
civilization.
about the fact that we have yet to accomplish I know we're talking about how these young people say now we're not our ancestors.
Yes,
And
that
it
is the
just
most
drives-
insulting thing.
It's so insulting. And we were talking about the fact that the people who are saying this, you have yet to accomplish what former slaves accomplished in the first 50 years out of slavery. And you're walking around with every mode of communication possible, yet you have with education, you have accomplished nothing.
Exactly.
And I want to go back to this word that you said that I think is going to bring us to a close, survival.
Yes.
It's about our survival.
It totally is.
I am always reminded, every episode I'm reminded of this little cartoon that I saw. And it was a little kid in a museum. And he was standing there looking at a relic from African American culture. And the kid turned and said to an adult, "What happened to these people?"
Wow.
And I'm always reminded that there are civilizations that no longer exist.
Yes.
There are peoples that no longer, yes, I know I said peoples, I said it for a reason,
That's
that no
right.
longer exist,
We understood what you said, though.
whose cultures there's
Gone.
no sign anywhere. So our very survival is at stake. And I've been quoting Sheila Jackson Lee. We were at a church event, and she made the statement, "We are living in perilous times as Black people, and we do not know how perilous those times are. We do not know that our very survival is at stake
That's it.
because there are things that are happening around us of which we have no knowledge. And we're just going on day to day as if everything is okay, and we have no responsibility. There's no onus on us to take responsibility for anything that is happening around us." And hurry up and put your finger down.
Okay, because this is what I want to say. I just want to say, yes, we are in those times, but we are our own solution.
Absolutely.
We are our own answer.
And I'm glad you said that, because here's the answer. So we're gonna wrap this up, because I want you to talk about what you do at the shrine.
Okay.
your culture keeping. This is a real life culture keeper on a
Absolutely.
daily basis,
Handling
sitting
it.
beside us.
Handling
This
it.
brother here, who's going to learn not to play devil's advocate
Really?
in the Lord's house. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
This is the Lord's house.
Yes.
You know,
This is the
and- but
Lord's
the
house.
thing about it, the thing that is important is that sometimes you have to say what people are thinking
Mhm.
so that it can be brought to the light.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then the light can be shed on it so it can be examined
As
and
Ayanna would say,
dissected.
the hard
But he
conversation.
as well does work in the community and work as a politician. Whether he likes to say that he's not a politician, but I like to say if you get in the business of politics, you become a politician. I'm sorry,
Mm.
that's American standard American English. So talk to us about what you do.
Okay, the Shrine Cultural Center is basically not just culture, it's
Okay.
a museum,
Yes.
and is also a community center where
Yes.
we provide things for people. We have every Saturday, we have yoga classes, two forms. One is regular yoga and the other is comedic. And all of these are to give people a sense of our divinity by getting in touch with your body and the movements of your body and the energy that you feel. And that energy is connected to a source. So we have those classes, you know, and it all
Reminds
begins
me of
with
Kua.
meditation. First, you got to know who you are.
Mhm.
You have to
Mhm.
also practice the ancient disciplines that our ancestors did. So that would be meditation, sitting quietly, focusing on who you are, your connection to God, your connection with your people, getting grounded in that. And we have other things that we offer, reading classes for children so that it's important for them to read. We
Yes,
have
absolutely.
a class taught by Pastor Aswad, wonderful civic engagement,
Mm.
truth telling every first and third, which is enter the black hole, telling the whole circumstance of our people
All right.
and providing solutions to
Yeah.
us. We have the African Holocaust Museum.
Mm.
I say that,
Yes.
and that's exactly what it is,
Yes.
because we give tours on the museum, and sometimes it's necessary for people to take that tour and go back and realize how we got to be where we are.
Sure.
We take them all around the cultural center to see the beautiful art that African people made. We have paintings that depict us in Africa, Egypt, and how the whole divine system was stolen in terms of medicine and everything
Mhm.
from us by the
Mhm.
Greeks. But people ask, once they see all the glorious creations that we are responsible for making, the next question is, what happened
What
to
happened?
us?
Right.
What
Right?
happened?
What happened to us? So then the last part of the tour is to take you into the African Holocaust Museum, which depicts the capture, enslavement, and up until, this
Yeah.
day. So we have to understand that it was a process
Oh, yes.
that brought us down.
Mhm.
And it's a process that's going to raise
Raise
us
us
back
up.
up.
Come on now.
Right.
Yeah.
But we have to utilize that. First, trusting in the God with you, connecting with your brothers and sisters. Get involved in an organization that's going to elevate the lives of Black people. We say one important thing, moving from individualism
Yes.
Mm.
to communalism.
To community.
Wow.
And that's the
Word.
problem we have as a
Word.
people, because
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't get more than me. I won't
Yeah,
let you
yeah.
have that.
Right, right, right.
But when we have that communal, change that mindset
Change that
into
mindset.
communalism,
Yeah.
we could accomplish a
We can
lot.
accomplish a lot.
Mm.
And
Thank
might I
you.
add, we did.
Yes.
Brother Rob.
And we will again.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to first off, I'm looking at this book over here. It keeps catching my eyes. It says "Reclaiming Stolen Earth," right? So when you mentioned about me getting into politics, I'm going to be associated with them. That's like saying, because when Christ was out, he was evangelizing in the street, and he was going to certain places that other people wouldn't go. That means he was that in that element. It's not true. When I say I'm a community ambassador, that's what I am. That's getting into politics. That's going to take a different mindset of being an independent thought, going in and trying to help the community of changing our narrative. That's what I do, you know. So when
Okay.
somebody call me a politician, it's very offensive. Yes, it is, because I'm not here to take away from the community. I'm here to help things that we need. And so my goal is to be that voice of our community. Any independent person mind that thinks the way I think, hey, I want to go and fight for y'all. You know,
And as an individual who's getting into the political arena, you're going in as an independent.
Right.
As an independent. And that's a whole nother conversation where looking at this two-party system
It's not
and
working.
how we are
not
still
working.
enslaved by the two-party system.
Mhm.
So, okay. And so wonderful. And talk just a little bit about the Acres Homes tree lighting ceremony
Yes,
and how what that does in
Mhm.
terms of preserving our culture here in the community. And then we're going to wrap it up.
Guys, so when I came up with the idea, you know, I was engaged in something called Super Neighborhood, which is a program that Mayor Lee Brown at the time had brought to our community. And so got into Super Neighborhood, and I saw a disconnect between the boomers, Generation X, the millennials, and Generation Z. And so I was like, what can I do to galvanize us back together and get more, to be more included? And tree lighting just popped into my head, you know. And so it's going to sound sacrilegious. I don't celebrate Christmas, but that don't mean that because I don't celebrate, I mean, I can't bring something to the community that people can benefit from, you know. And so doing that, I got with the kids, I got with the seniors, seasoned people, seasoned, and wanted to uphold or keep the history of our community going, because it's not for me, it's for people coming behind me or whatnot. And so that's what it's for, you know. And so to maintain it, it's been growing every year, you know. Unfortunately, we try to keep a certain element from it, but it keeps happening. It is what it is. But that's how we can adjust, because that's who we are. We adjust to our surroundings and whatnot. So the tree lighting is really to help keep community pride and galvanize our people in the community.
Okay. Okay. All right, then. So this has been a wonderful conversation. I really hate to bring it to a close, but I'm looking at the clock, and in a minute, Nolan is going to throw something at me and tell me my time is up. I'm going to go ahead and say thank you guys for being with us today. Thank you for bringing all of your knowledge, your insight, your experiences, your thoughts, everything that you've brought to the table. Thank you so much. And thank you, Bishop Deke Matthew Nelson, for because you don't know, just your presence has changed the energy in the room. And I'm really hoping that you're going to come back and sit in the chair with me. And let's talk a little bit about the element of religion.
All right.
That's all right. So it's on the books. It's on the books. So we're going to bring him back. And thank you, those of you who have joined us live.
Yes,
live. This was, so Nolan, did we do okay live? Are we okay? Excellent.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Nolan says we're okay.
Yeah.
And Jimmy, we didn't ask you for no music.
I don't know what Jimmy over there doing. Jimmy just be hitting them kids.
All right. See what I said? Just out of control.
Out of
But
control.
listen, thank you. And that's it. So we're going to thank everybody who came. Thank those people who were sitting over there in the chairs. And we did the darn thing as we said we were going to do.
Yay,
and
Nolan.
again, as I say always,
and just
don't let the conversation stop here.
Yes.
Take the conversation to your favorite barbershop. Take it to your favorite beauty shop. Just take the conversation. I am Norma Jo Thomas, and I have been the host of Shop Talk, the Barbershop Podcast. Thank you.
Season 1 of Shop Talk Podcast is funded in part by a grant from the City of Houston through the Houston Arts Alliance.